While we've been waiting for info about xDefiant and when we can expect it to release, we got an article from Tom Henderson on March 23rd, which reported that the development on xDefiant was constantly missing deadlines and milestones during its development, with a quote from a source stating, "The never-ending hunt to chase COD and add pointless stuff always breaks the current build." It didn't take long for the game's executive producer, Mark Rubin, to reply to this article, saying the delays for xDefiant are due to technical issues, not chasing COD, and eye rolls at whoever it was who said it. Now, the information we've been told since last year is true, or at least partially true, that xDefiant's constant recent delays have been due to technical issues between netcode, the party system, and more, which we'll get to later. The main issue with this is the timeline of the game's development. It doesn't take a genius to know that xDefiant should have been released sometime last year in 2023. Unless the team is so incompetent that they were an entire year behind due to technical issues, it's more likely that there were changes to the game sometime before 2023, and now they're paying the price. We do know that the plans for xDefiant did change at some point when the game dropped the Tom Clancy brand in 2022. In another article by Tom Henderson, the game may have been ready to release in late 2021, which again points to the game being changed somewhere around this time, with new gameplay features that put the game's development behind. The article continues with reports from current and former devs of the project, saying that all the game's decisions are being led by a group of executives and directors on the project that are referred to as the Boys Club, which seems to have divided the team, and feedback such as faulty netcode was left on the wayside to be dealt with later. And the list of complaints goes on, with HR reports, people going into mental breakdowns, and an overall toxic environment. I do recommend going over and reading the articles and come up with your own conclusions. This, of course, is not the news we want to hear about xDefiant. If this was a complaint by one or two devs, that's one thing. Absolute best case scenario, these were a group of developers who were hired on to make the original vision of xDefiant and were taken off guard when they realized they were making something closer to Call of Duty. I would feel the same if I was told to make lasagna, and halfway through, I'm told to cancel that order and make a pizza instead. In the worst case scenario, the leadership had put too much focus on converting the gameplay sometime early on, forcing developers to redo their work, untangle established code, and fix certain critical issues afterwards. Not to mention all the unprofessional behavior that is being reported on as well. When Tom questioned Ubisoft about this, they claimed to have tools in place to help developers report any issues, including an anonymous whistleblowing channel and other robust processes to deal with inappropriate behaviors should they recur. I do hope the best for the developers involved, and if they do need to take any action, that they can do so without feeling like their job is at jeopardy. There is a lot of drama and we won't really know what happened, but the game is still being developed, and with that, the xDefiant's official Twitter account announced that there will be a 12-hour worldwide playtest for the game, after which the team plans to nail down a release date. Funnily enough, the announcement came with no date as to when this 12-hour test will happen. Even with all of this, I'm still interested in the game and seeing what happens to it. If you want to know why I do want to see xDefiant succeed, please watch my previous video about the game. Even though I do talk about the game in a more positive light, there's not really anything in that video that I would change. But for this video, I do need to go over some of my big concerns for this game that only makes me worry about it even more with these articles coming out. Before we get into that, if you're enjoying this discussion, please leave a like on the video and consider subscribing. We're trying to hit that 500 subscriber mark and we're inching closer to it with every new video. Now let's dive in and explain why I do feel that there is truth to these articles. With the first point being the game's netcode. It's no secret during the open betas, the netcode was all over the place. Anything from getting killed around corners, losing fights against weapons that deal less damage than the ones you're using, bullets hitting the target but not registering, and so on. This is something that I touched on in every one of my previous videos. I'm very adamant about having a game like this that's clearly built for a competitive audience to be as fair as possible. That includes everything from character abilities to the game's optimization and netcode and server stability, all of which will never be perfect in any game and do need a fair bit of work in xDefiant. That said, it's been a year since netcode has been an issue with this game, as Mark has touched on this topic in March of last year as they were heading into an open beta with this half-baked netcode they promised to have fixed later on that year. I don't know much about the internals of game development, but if it is taking your team an entire year to fix netcode issues on a game this small, and it is small compared to games like Halo Infinite or Battlefield or Call of Duty, then you have either the most incompetent team of developers in Ubisoft, or any attempts to refine the netcode was ignored for as long as possible. And considering the information from Tom Henderson, I'm leaning towards the latter. The next point to make is part of the article about xDefiant chasing Call of Duty. Again, it doesn't take much to realize that xDefiant's gameplay looks very similar to Call of Duty. That said, there are plenty of differences, both good and bad, that makes xDefiant different, and in my opinion, has a better chance to provide a consistent experience to most players. However, that also comes with balancing weapons and character abilities. In every open beta I've played, the clear answer would be to play as the Libertad faction, which allowed for self-healing mid-combat. That led to many fights where I had the advantage and lost because the player turned a corner, pressed a button, got all their health back near instantly, and won the fight. We have yet to have an open build of the game where this is not the case. If the team in xDefiant isn't careful, they will end up having similar issues that Overwatch and other games have, where no one wants to use any other character or ability because of just how powerful the current meta is. Even if Mark and his team do want to shake things up and better balance the game, they can't take 3 months or longer to do so. Again, this plagued Overwatch for years, where everyone had to wait for the next season for any kind of major change, and hope that whatever did change was enough to shift the meta in a healthier direction. And if it didn't, they would have to wait another 3 months all over again. I do hope whatever development hell this game has been going through does not continue post-launch if it ever does launch at this point. There's plenty for Mark and his team to take care of, and even more to prove that they can put together a game that's worth playing and sticking around in the long run. I really do want to see this game succeed and for the developers to be better treated and not feel like their concerns are dismissed for the wrong reasons. Now, what do you think about all this going on? Are you still wanting to give xDefiant a shot, or has this drama soured your taste for the game? Let me know and let's talk about it in the comments below. And hey, if you do want a game that's Overwatch meets Call of Duty, you may want to try out the finals. I have a few videos about it, including this one where I talk about the new contents that came with Season 2. Until then, I am Mr. Rain, and I will see you next time.